Cheick Guillaume Ouedraogo, more commonly known as Cheick Kongo, is a French heavyweight mixed martial artist and kickboxer who fights in Bellator MMA. Early life: born to a Burkinabe copyright father and a Congolese mother, Kongo began training in martial arts when he was 5 years old, learning kendo and karate. As he grew older, he had already received black belt from both styles and began to expand his repertoire and trained in Muay Thai, kickboxing, savate and Greco-Roman wrestling at age of 16. At age 19, he studied pencak silat Sesha Hati Terat, an Indonesian martial art, and was coached by Charles Jusset and Frank Ropers, men who brought silat to France. He is also a cousin of rugby star Fulgence Ouedraogo, the French back rower. Cheick is also a columnist for the French MMA magazine, Top Fight. Mixed martial arts career: on June 10, 2001, Kongo began his professional career by knocking out Dugard. Kongo then followed up that win with a TKO over Dave Van der Veen. He then lost his third professional MMA fight to Rodney Favoruse by decision. He faced Gilbert Yvel on May 20, losing for the second time in his career when he tapped to strikes in the second round. He trained with Anderson Silva and Wanderlei Silva in the early days of Pride Fighting Championships. Ultimate Fighting Championship Kongo entered the UFC to fight Gilbert Aldana at UFC 61, whom he beat by TKO due to a doctor stoppage. Kongo followed up with a win over UFC newcomer Christian Wellisch by KO due to a knee strike, before losing to UFC newcomer Carmelo Marrero at UFC 64. Then, Kongo defeated Ashwario Silva by majority decision at UFC 70. At UFC 75 on September 8, 2007, he defeated Mirko Filipovic by unanimous decision. The fight was surrounded with some controversy because Kongo delivered 3 illegal groin knees and did not have any points deducted. He fought against Heath Herring at UFC 82, losing by split decision. At UFC 87 he fought against UFC newcomer Dan the Viking Evenson, whom he defeated by first-round TKO. Kongo fought at UFC 92 on December 27, 2008 where he beat former Cage Rage British heavyweight champion Mustafa Al-Turk by TKO. Kongo dropped Al-Turk with 2 right hands. Then fired on a vicious ground and pound attack. Kongo pounced on Al-Turk with elbows and punches, opening up a big cut above the eye. Referee Steve Mazzagatti stopped the fight after 4:37 of the first round. This fight was also somewhat controversial because Kongo hit Al-Turk with a groin knee prior to the stoppage. In his next fight he then defeated Anthony Hardonk at UFC 97 by second-round TKO. Kongo replaced Heath Herring on 3 weeks' notice at UFC 99 to face the up-and-coming Cain Velasquez in the co-main event. Kongo lost to Velasquez by unanimous decision in a one-sided affair. He did, however, manage to drop Velasquez on 2 occasions with straight punches. It had been rumored that if he was to defeat Velasquez, Kongo would earn a title shot against the winner of the UFC 100 heavyweight championship between Brock Lesnar and Frank Mir. Mir lost his bout against Lesnar and actually ended up fighting Kongo at UFC 107. During the pre-fight talk, Mir stated that Kongo had no ground game, so at the weigh-ins Cheick Kongo turned his back to Mir, to be disrespectful. Mir won the fight by a submission. After connecting with a left overhand punch that dropped Kongo, Mir finished him with a guillotine choke, rendering Kongo unconscious just 72 seconds into the first round. Kongo defeated Paul Buentello on March 21, 2010 at UFC Live, Vera vs Jones by submission due to elbows. Kongo was expected to face the Ultimate Fighter 10 winner Roy Nelson on July 3, 2010, at UFC 116 but a back injury to Kongo has caused the cancellation of the fight. Kongo would end up fighting Nelson almost 3 years later at UFC 159. Kongo's next fight was against undefeated Travis Brown at UFC 120. They fought to a unanimous draw. Kongo repeatedly grabbed Brown's shorts and had 1 point deducted in the final round. Kongo fought Pat Barry on June 26, 2011 at UFC on vs. 4. His fight against Barry became the main event since Nate Marquardt was not medically cleared for his welterweight debut against Rick Story. During the bout, Kongo was dropped by a looping right hand. Visibly rocked, Kongo got back to his feet but was dropped again seconds later by another hard punch. Despite being dropped twice, Kongo was able to knock Barry out with a hard overhand right to the ear, followed by an uppercut to the chin to secure a win midway through the first round. Kongo faced Matt Mitrione on October 29, 2011 at UFC 137. He won the fight by a unanimous decision by utilizing his reach with his jab and securing multiple takedowns. Kongo faced Mark Hunt on February 26, 2012 at UFC 144. He lost the fight via TKO in the first round. Kongo was expected to face Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira on July 21, 2012 at UFC 149. However, Nogueira pulled out of the bout, citing that an arm injury sustained in his last bout against Frank Mir had not healed enough to resume the proper training and was replaced by Sean Jordan. Kongo defeated Jordan via unanimous decision. Kongo finally faced Roy Nelson on April 27, 2013 at UFC 159, a bout that was supposed to happen almost 3 years before at UFC 116. He lost the fight via knockout in the first round. After his loss to Nelson, Kongo's UFC contract expired and he was released from the UFC. Before UFC 159, the UFC offered Kongo a 4-fight deal, which he turned down. On May 4, 2013, Kongo stated that he is on good terms with the UFC and was quoted saying, "Don't believe he said she said stories. I have not been cut by the UFC. I'm Cheick Kongo, so I know best what's next for me. It doesn't mean that I am leaving the UFC, it doesn't mean that I am staying it means this is my life." Kongo has stated that he is open to the possibility of resigning a contract with the UFC. Bellator MMA. Shortly after it was announced that Cheick's teammate Rampage Jackson was going to Bellator, it was stated that Kongo will be following his teammate. Kongo's move to Bellator was official on August 28, 2013. Kongo made his debut in the Season 9 heavyweight tournament. He faced Mark Godbear on October 4, 2013 at Bellator 102. Kongo won the fight via TKO in the second round. He was then expected to face Vinicius Queiroz in the tournament finals, on November 2, 2013 at Bellator 106. But due to a change in the lineup, the bout was late scrapped from the card. Kongo vs Queiroz was then expected to take place on November 8, 2013 at Bellator 107. However, Queiroz was later forced to withdraw from the bout due to a knee injury and was replaced by Peter Graham. Kongo won the fight via unanimous decision. Kongo faced undefeated Bellator heavyweight champion Vitaly Minakov at Bellator 115 on April 4, 2014. He lost the back-and-forth fight via unanimous decision. Kongo faced Eric Smith at Bellator 120 on May 17, 2014. He won the fight via TKO by way of knees and punches at 4:35 of round 2. Kongo faced fellow striker LeVar Johnson at Bellator 123 on September 5, 2014. He won the fight via rear naked choke submission in the first round. This marked his first submission win, that wasn't due to Sturks, since 2003. Kongo faced King Mo Lawal at Bellator 134, the British Invasion on February 27, 2015. He lost the fight via split decision. Kongo faced former Bellator heavyweight champion Alexander Volkov on June 26, 2015 at Bellator 139. He won the fight via unanimous decision. Championships and achievements. Kickboxing. 2005 World Champion, Federation King of the Rings, 2005 King of Colosseum Tournament Champion, 2005 Rings World Champion, 2004 King of the Ring Heavyweight Champion, 2004 Muay Thai World Champion, 2003 Intercontinental Muay Thai Champion, 2002 Rings European Champion, 2001 Rings European Vice Champion, European Salvage Champion. Mixed martial arts. Bellator MMA, Bellator Season 9 Heavyweight Tournament winner. Ultimate Fighting Championship, Knockout of the Night vs. Pat Barry, Knockout of the Year vs. Pat Barry. Kings of the Ring Super World Champion -103 kilograms. World MMA Awards, 2011 Comeback of the Year. Mixed Martial Arts Record. Kickboxing Record. See also, List of current Bellator fighters, List of male mixed martial artists, List of male kickboxers. References. External links, Official UFC profile, Official Cheick Kongo MySpace, Professional MMA record for Cheick Kongo from Sherdog.